everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to get this somewhat intense grungy look, so if you'd like to see how I did it, just keep on watching. So since I rarely show my base, I figured why not just do it for a video. So I went in with the Rimmel Stay Matte Primer, and I use that to prime my face. Normally I skip this part because, to be honest, I use like 2 or 3 different foundations, and I stick to them. And I only use primer during the summer because I get pretty oily during the summer. And I tend to stick to the same concealers as well, so it's like it would just be the same thing over and over for you guys. And then I went in with the Rimmel Stay Matte foundation in the shade Ivory, and I just buffed that all over my skin. I actually am not somebody who wears like super full coverage foundation. I prefer something that's a little more skin-like, and this for me is a little more skin-like. I also use the CoverGirl Vitalist Healthy Elixir foundation for days where I feel like my skin is a little more on the dry side because I do have combo skin. And let's see, there's a third one I use. Oh yes, I also use occasionally the CoverGirl True Blend Matte Made foundation. I think that's what it's called. I use that when I'm feeling particularly oily, and then also the Maybelline Superstay foundation. I use that when I feel like my skin is having a really rough time. Okay, and then I went in with the e.l.f. Camouflage Concealer, I think this is called. This is the first time I actually used this, and I think I got a shade a tad too light. You could kind of see the reaction on my face. This was their lightest shade. I just assumed it might be a little dark because normally, like, with drugstore brands, they don't tend to go too light on their concealers. But yeah, I mean, it ended up blending out nicely, and when I set it, it didn't look quite as white. So yeah, I think I actually like it. It covers really nice too. And then I went in with the e.l.f. Eyeshadow Primer. I just place this on my eyelids and I tap it out with my finger. For eyeshadow primers, I use either this or the Hard Candy Eyeshadow Primer. I flip-flop back between those two, and those are pretty much the only ones I use. Unless my eyelids are feeling very oily themselves, then I will go in with the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Eyeshadow Primer because that helps to keep my oils from peeking through on my eyelids. And then forgive what this looks like. Actually, no, whoop, my bad. That's the next thing, not this. But then I go in with the Pretty Vulgar translucent setting powder, and I use that to set my eyelids, under my eyes, and then also my smile lines and in between my eyebrows because I get deeper lines there. Like my smile lines are pretty deep, and sometimes my foundation will like separate right there. And if I don't set it with like this powder, I find that it does it more often. So I use that powder to set those areas, and then yeah, this is what I was talking about. I hit major pan on this, but I still want to use as much as I can before I end up tossing it. That was the Rimmel Stay Matte powder in the shade Transparent, and I use that to set the rest of my face. I pretty much use this powder or the Wet n Wild powder to set my face, and occasionally the Maybelline one. They're all the pressed powders, and yeah, so like that's part of the reason why I skip showing you my foundation routine, just because I think it's like it would just be so redundant for me to do the same things, use the same products over and over and over again. And then I go in with the e.l.f. brow pomade. I think actually this is called their brow. It's like a cream liner or something. I don't know. I can't remember the exact name, but I do know that this is in the shade Espresso. And then I just use that to fill in my eyebrows. Pretty much, whenever I'm doing looks like this or character looks or anything, I will tend to go with this unless the eyebrows require a colorful eyebrow or one that's a little lighter than my natural brows that I do. But yeah, I have a brow tutorial on my channel if you're curious of how I go about filling them in. I just realized that I talked so much in this video so far, so pardon me for that. But quickly wanted to tell you that on Friday, no, this is Friday. On Tuesday, I'm uploading my post-apocalyptic Disney look with the character Kita from Atlantis. And then the following Friday, I'm going to be doing a regular makeup look. That following Tuesday, I'm going to be doing a post-apocalyptic Snow White, I believe. And then right now, I'm going in with the BH Cosmetics Shan XO The Remix palette, and I'm taking that light mustardy yellow shade, and I'm running that into my crease with just a Wet n Wild blending brush. And then let's see, where was I? After Snow White, I'll probably be doing posting another regular makeup look. And then I'm actually going to be starting eventually a Rainbow Elf series, which is going to be like a 2 looks in one, like a regular rainbow look, and then I'll add on the additional elf features. So it's kind of like a 2-in-1 type deal. And then I'm going in with this warm tone brown shade, using the same brush, and I'm just running that into my crease as well. I do have a few more looks I'm going to be doing in my post-apocalyptic Disney series before I start that series, however. And it's not going to be that many. I'm going to have, after I do, what did I just say? Snow White. And then, oh boy, I can't remember. I know Merida is going to be one. And, oh goodness, what? Oh, okay, and then I'm going in with this really red-toned warm brown. I'm doing the same thing. I'm just putting it all over in my crease, and I do pat this shade all over on my lid. Why can't I remember? Oh, Rapunzel is another one. I think maybe it's just Snow White, Merida, and Rapunzel I think that I have left for this series. And then I'm going to be starting my Rainbow Elf series, and that'll probably go into the beginning of, I want to say September, because, yeah. And then I'm going in with this dark brown shade, and I'm actually, oh yes, I did not put that reddish tone brown shade all over my lid. I'm sorry, pardon me for that. I'm using that dark brown shade and I'm patting it all over my lid. I'm not going too intense with this because I don't want it to be too smoky. Your voice used to keep me warm. And then I'm going in with this shade. This is kind of like a black, but it's like not like the blackest of blacks, but it is buildable. And I just took the smallest, and I mean like the smallest amount, and I just tapped it very lightly over closest to my lower lash line and just blended it up into that dark brown. So just to give it like a slight gradient from the lash line to the brown color. And then for the lower lash line, I decided to do more of a red pinky tone type feel. So I went in with this like mauve dusty rose shade, and I just brushed that all over my lower lash line with a fluffy brush, and I do drag it down quite a bit and off to the side. Your touch used to be the color of the truth in our lives. Golden boy, you set my world on fire. And then I'm taking this more like, it's like a, what is it, like a red burgundy type shade, and I'm putting that closer to my lower lash line, but I do end up blending it down pretty far as well, just not as far as that first shade. And then I'm just going back and forth, like kind of blending the top part to where it meets that reddish combination at the bottom, and then I do go back in and blend in the red with the brownish combination from the top a little more. Paradise in our lives. This time, I'm not afraid to walk. And then I'm taking this really dark, like, what is it, like a red-toned eggplant? I don't know. Oh my goodness. Why am I trying to describe the colors? It never comes out right. But I'm just pressing that closest to my lower lash line just to give that area a lot more depth. And then I decided to go in with the LA Girl Glide Gel Liner in the shade Black, and I'm just using that to waterline my lower lash line. Then I used the Wet n Wild Mega Liner in the shade Black, and I used that to line my upper lash line. Then for mascara, I went in with the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara, and I coated my top and lower lashes. For bronzer, I went in with the e.l.f. bronzer palette, and I took this shade and I just used that to warm up my cheekbones and the bridge of my nose.
Keep me warm in the cold of the night. Your touch used to be the color of the truth.
And then I took this Jordana blush. I think this is called Warm Apricot or something with apricot in it. No, Sweet Honey. Oh my goodness. What am I talking about? It just came to me. Disregard everything I just said. It's Jordana Sweet Honey. And I use that to add a little bit more color back to my cheeks as well. And then I took this Essence Contour Palette, taking this warmer toned contour shade. I'm using that to carve out my cheekbones and my jawline. Normally I don't use too many warm toned contour shades. I go for more cool toned colors or even slightly red toned. But I don't know, I was kind of feeling the warmer toned contour color today. That day. So that's what I did. And then for highlighter, because I decided I want a highlighter with this look as well, I went in with the Wet n Wild highlighting bar. This is from their Zodiac collection. This is in the shade Earth. And I use that to highlight my cheekbones, my cupid's bow, the tip of my nose, and the bridge of my nose.
We're young, lost in our own paradise, in our lives. Words mean absolutely nothing. We go round and round.
And then finally for lips, I went in with the NYX Liquid Suede lipstick in the shade Vintage. And yeah, that's pretty much the end of this look. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you aren't already or if you want to, and I'll see you in my next one.